The accounts of stores are based on the fundamental principle that the cost of their acquisition should be debited to the final head of account concerned or the particular work for which they are required. If either of these can be determined at once, in other cases it should be kept under a suspense head which is to be cleared by debit to the specific head of work as the materials are actually issued. The principle is applied to stores held by a PWD division as follows. First, tools and plant. Tools and plant acquired for general use in the division are debited to the final machinery and equipment. Any special tools and plants are purchased for a specific work are debited to the accounts of the work concerned. Road metal. Cost of all road metal acquired to the constructions of repairs a road is debited to the construction work. Third, other stores. The cost of other stores purchased for specific works is debited to the work concerned, but cost of such stores purchased as a standing arrangement for use on works as and when the need arises is debited to a suspense head stock. Categories of stores. Stores fall in two distinct categories. First store debited to suspense and second store debited to final. So debited to suspense, stock suspense. Stores debited to final tools and plant, road metal, materials charged to works. Receipt. Stock materials are received in a PWD division by storekeeper on the or the sectional officer concerned only a proper authority for their receipt. The authority to receive is given by the divisional officer or by the SDO. All materials received are then examined, counted, weighed and measured before delivery is taken. Immediate record is kept on the receipt in the goods received sheet form 8A in triplicate and bin card form 8. One copy of goods received sheet is kept by the storekeeper, one copy is given to the supplier and third copy is sent to divisional office. Custody. The officer in charge of stores is directly and personally responsible for the safe custody and preservation of stores. Issues. Store materials are issued only a receipt of an indent form 7 signed by the divisional officer or SDO normally. There are 5 copies of the indent. 1 copy is written by the issuing officer. This copy. The officer in charge of the store examines the indent, enters the quantity issued in all the 4 copies and also in bin cards. Both the officers, one issuing and the other receiving the material, then sign all of the 4 copies of indents to confirm the actual delivery of material. One copy of the indent is written by the stores in charge. Second is given to the receiver of materials and the remaining 2 are sent to the divisional officer for further action. How are the quantities accounts and value accounts reconciled in each month? Quantity accounts of stock are maintained in store subdivision. Value accounts are kept in the division office in form of price store ledger with the help of goods received sheets and indents received from the subdivision. All transactions are recorded in the quantity accounts of stores strictly in the order of their occurrence. Receipts of stores. Issue of store subdivisional quantity accounts. The storekeeper's quantity accounts are kept on bin card on which are recorded in the opening balance, receipt, issues and closing balance of each article. Value of accounts and reconciliation accounts branch of divisional office keeps a price store ledger in CPWA 12 in its pages are sent apart of for each article. The counts columns of the ledger provide receipt, issues and balances both that terms of quantities and value. Articles received and articles issued in the stores are known from the copies of goods received sheets and copies of indents. Goods received are valued from supplier bills, while the goods issued are priced at store as issue rate fixed for the purpose. This gives a complete price and quantity account of the stores of the division. The ledger is closed monthly for the quantity and value of the abstract of total receipt, issues and balances is worked out. Reconciliation of value accounts in the price store ledger. All the goods received and stand entered in with their value even if their payment has not been made, and all the indents with value stand entered even if their cost has not yet been recorded from the party to whom these were issued. That these items for which payment has not yet been made or recoveries have not yet been made will cause a difference in the cash account figures and price store ledger of stock. To reconcile the two and following procedure is adopted. The value of goods received but not paid for is debited to stock by credit to material purchase suspense settlement suspense. The value goods issued for which recovery has not yet been made is credited to stock by debit to miscellaneous PW advance. To reconcile the general accounts with the figures in the summary, the value of goods received but not paid is debited to stock by credit to material purchase settlement suspense account. Value goods issued for which recovery has not yet been made is the credited to stock by debit to miscellaneous PW advance cash settlement suspense account. As the case may be, surpluses found on physical verification. All materials found surplus, that is in excess of the balance in the account, is treated as receipt or store and immediately entered in the goods received sheets from there on the quantity account and value account of store. The value of such stores is credited to revenue by debit to stock. Shortages found in the physical verification shortages too are adjusted immediately through the final heads of account. To be debited is not known. As usual in such cases, their value is removed from the stock account by credit to stock and debit to MPW advance. In what respects does the stock account differ from the tools and plant and material at site account? Expand the hints given in the following. On MS account will be introduced in theory portion of this book. In the chapter on works accounts, heading stock account, tool plant, MS account. Quantity or value, both quantity and value, only quantity. Classification stock, final head M&E, work concern. How adjusted when issued, adjusted then and there. No adjustment shown. Assured and T&P ledger, adjusted only in completion of work. Shortages are shown as MPW advance. No adjustment enter part 3 T&P ledger will recover on write-off. Materials found excess or surpluses are receipt of store. No adjustment entered in the part 1 of T&P brought on MS account. Nature, consumable good articles of use not for consumption of consumable goods and article. Now the principle should be observed in fixing rate. Materials are issued from stock to works at a rate known as issue rate. The contractor these may be issued at a rate higher or lower than the issue rate as per the agreement. In the case the suspense head stock is given credited issue rate, the resultant gain or loss is borne by the work being done by contractor. Issue rate is fixed on the principle that the cost to be charged to a work on which the materials are to be used should approximately equal to the actual cost of the stores, and that there may be no ultimate profit or loss on stock account. Thus the issue rate provides for the element of purchase price, cost of carriage to stores and cost of storage, expenses on work charge establishment employed on handling, custody and keeping initial accounts of stores beside expenditure of maintenance of stores go down. The issue rate of an article of stock is fixed at the beginning of each year, but as purchases during the year are made, variation of cost should be watched. If there is a material variation in the purchase price, the issue rate can be revised at the discretion of the divisional officer. Market rate. This term indicates that the cost per unit at which the article or an article of similar description can be procured at a given time from the public market suitable to the division to obtain its supply. This cost should include the expenses likely to be incurred on carriage and incidental charges. Also the determined the market rate. Reasonable provision may be made for wastage and depreciation where these are inevitable. If the issue rate is appreciably lower than the market rate, the following precautions are observed. All sales and issue to contractors shall be made at market rates. Issues to the other division and departments shall be restricted and may be made at a rate higher than the issue rate. What is price ledger? How is profit or loss in stock is adjusted. Adjustment of profit and loss at the end of the year. The issue rate for the next year is fixed. The difference between the account balance and price ledger balance at that time analyzed. Profit or loss due to revision of rates is worked out and adjusted as credit to revenue and debit to other expenditure losses on stock. T&P register. Articles in hand part 1. In this part, all articles brought shall be entered. When any article is temporarily lent or sent out for repairs, it shall be noted in appropriate columns in this part. Part 1 of the ledger shows all articles still lying the godown. Part 2. Articles temporarily lent or sent out for repairs. If any articles is issued to for use on a work or to other division or contractor on hire, a record of their issue for use or on loan or on hire shall be kept in Part 2. In addition, in that Part 1. Part 3. Shortages awaiting adjustment articles in hands as per Part 1 of the ledger, and in addition articles temporarily lent or sent out as Part 2 should be always available for physical verification of T&P. In this Part 3 shall be recorded any shortages that come to notice. They shall continue to be noted in this part till record on return. Posting of ledger. Part 1 of the ledger is posted from office copies of T&P registered sheets and from the tools and plants indents articles temporarily lent or sent out for repairs as per indents. Back after use or repairs as per T&P register should in addition be entered in Part 2 both when sent out and received back. Part 3 is to be posted even shortages are noticed. Treatment of surplus. Any surplus notice on physical verification will be immediately recorded in Part 1 of the ledger as if it was a fresh purchase. Treatment of deficiency. If the deficiency is made in good in coin, the article should be entered in a T&P receipt sheet from Tera without any entry in the quantity column. This should be posted in Part 3 of the ledger direct to clear the outstanding entry there. No entry will be needed in Part 1 of the ledger as the entry of original article is already there. However, the charges connected with the land quarries and extracting road metal adjust in public accounts. Road metal may be needed for two purposes: to maintain the existing roads or roads, to construct a new road or raise the class of existing road. Stores accounting system. Stores issued by storekeeper, stores issued by storekeeper, goods issued sheet, indent, one copy, 2 copies subdivision, 1 copy division, 1 copy subdivision, etc. Transfer entries. Transfer entries, that is TO, are entries to transfer an item of receipt or charge from the account of a work its progress or from a regular head of account to the account or another work or head. Their necessary arises to correct an error of classification in the original accounts, to transfer amounts to proper heads if they are kept under one head in the first instance as a matter of accounting policy, to adjust a proper head of account an item outstanding in a suspense account or under a debt or deposit head, to bring to account certain classes of transactions which do not pass through the cash or stock account, to credit the cost of material purchased for work to material purchase settlement suspense account, to credit of amounts due to contractor on closed accounts to public work accounts, to transfer the value of T&P to other department for T&P article transferred to them at a price, to charge on a percentage basis the charges on establishment, tools and plantations and audit and accounts, to respond to a remittance transaction advised by the accounts, to renew the account of work in progress of items which have been ceased to be debitable to the estimate of the work, such as clearance of its suspense accounts, of closure of a work account and transfer to store or to another work accounts, to effect periodical adjustment such as credit of interest contribution to the account of subscriber to contributory provident fund, etc.